In my previous tutorial, I showed you how to generate AI images and videos in bulk for free. So today's video, I'm going to share with you some pro tips and tricks to show you how you can properly use my GPT extension within ChatGPT for free. I'll show you how you can easily edit or tweak the master prompts the way you like. And then I'm going to show you how you can properly use the Whisk website as well as its extension to generate scenes in bulk for free, showing you some pro tips and tricks in terms of editing your character sheets, editing your scenes, and all that cool stuff. And finally, I'm going to talk about some pro tips and tricks as well using Grok and its extension to show you how you can turn your scenes into video clips for free in bulk with a few clicks in a matter of minutes. And so if you're new here and you haven't watched my previous tutorial, I suggest you watch it before this one so you know exactly what I'm talking about in this video, because this video is simply a build up on top of the previous tutorial to advance the level of your skills and editing skills as well, turning your masterpiece ideas into beautiful product. I'll leave a link to it in the comments below. It's also going to show up on the top right, and you'll also find it at the end screen when you completed watching this video. So without further ado, let's dive right into it and start with my GPT extension. Once you start the chat, this is how it's going to look like, whether you're on desktop or web version. There are two ways for you to get started. You can either use the text box to type in anything, or you can simply just click on the link here where it says, let's lock in your visual style first, and then it's going to start asking you a couple of questions in order to determine your needs. So the first thing it's going to do is going to ask you the style about the video that you're creating, and you'll have 8 options to choose from. So let's say for me, I'm going to choose number 1, which is 3D animation. I'm just going to type in the number 1, hit enter, and then wait for the result. Now it's going to ask me the second question, which is the type of video that I'm creating. So I have 11 options to choose from, and then I'm going to go for number 3, which says cartoon animation. So I'm just going to say number 3 right here, and I'm not going to specify anything as of yet, but I'll let you know how you can tweak things around. So I'm going to hit enter and then wait for the result. Now what's going to happen is that it's going to start providing you with the master prompt, giving me everything that I need to get started. So the first thing it says, the title, the concept, the story, and everything else. And then comes next the character sheets, which typically is going to be a human character and an animal character. After that, it's going to give me the scene prompts as well as the motion prompts, and then the text-to-speech script and the voice direction. So let's say, for example, I don't like the idea of having a human character and an animal character. So I'm going to replace this. So how do we tweak that? So I'm simply just going to start typing by saying I'd like to replace the animal character with a female character acting as a friend for the other character. And then I'm going to say adjust the master prompt based on the new concept. And then I'm going to hit enter, and then it's going to regenerate. So the cool thing about this, in order for you not to get confused and for your convenience, once you start making tweaks to the master prompt, it's going to regenerate the master prompt, giving you all the updates or tweaks that you've asked for. So now we have everything set, including the concept and everything else. And then we come to the character sheets. Now we have 2 human characters. We have Milo and then we have Arya. Then here comes next is the scene prompt. So everything else is going to be the same. So this means that the tool is made flexible to work exactly how you intend to create your videos in whatever style you need. So if you don't like anything as part of the master prompt, all you have to do is simply just type in your tweaks in the text box, and then it's going to adjust that and regenerate the entire master prompt, giving you a fresh new master prompt that you can work with all the updates that you have asked for. This makes it very convenient because all you have to do as soon as you have the master prompt is simply just copy paste some text from here, from one tool to another, in order to generate images and videos in bulk. So let's make another tweak about the number of scenes. So now I have 15 scenes in total. Let's try to adjust that and see what happens. So I'm going to type in, I want to have 10 scenes instead, and then hit enter and then wait for the result. So now I regenerated the master prompt with my requirements. And as you can see, if you scroll down, you can see here where the scene prompts are. We have 10 scenes instead. So like I said, this makes it a lot convenient that you can easily have everything set in a single master prompt that you can work with, because all you have to do is simply copy paste some text from here over to the other extensions or the websites for you to start generating bulk images and videos. Now here comes the next part, which is using the Whisk website and its extension to start generating our character sheets manually and then automate all our scenes in the extension of Whisk. So today I'm not going to explain how you can use the website because I've already explained that in my previous tutorial. You're welcome to go ahead and check it out, but I want to share with you some pro tips that nobody's talking about. So tip number one is, what if I want to change anything about my characters and how they look like, or change anything about my scenes? Well, if you want to refine your characters or scene, instead of just going back to ChatGPT and ask it to regenerate your prompts, what you could do simply is just hover over the image of your characters or scene, and then you're going to find a button that says refine. Click on that one. This is going to take you to a page where you can describe your edits. So for example, let's say I want to change the vest color of the character from the teal green to an orange color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe my edits just by typing that. So I'm going to say change the vest color to orange in all 3 characters. And then I'm simply just going to hit generate and then wait for the result. So you can see the result is typical, and it's so easy to fine tune or tweak your character's look however you like just by describing your edits. Now, if you're happy with the way how the character turned out, what you could do is simply just delete the older version by hovering over it and then click on the trash icon to get rid of it, and then keep this one, and then you can simply just click on the refine exit mode right here on the top right to exit this and go back to your workspace. I was just showing you this as an example, but I'm just going to take this off, but wanted to show you how you can easily tweak your characters and scenes. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is we're looking for consistency. Now in scene number 1, we can see this is scene number 1, what it looks like. It's a white cinematic establishing shot of a whimsical town square under warm golden late after night light. So you can see this is basically a scene where we have the tower and the clock. And then in scene number 3 is where we needed to have a close-up of the clock. So this is the prompt of scene number 3. It says close-up exterior shot of the giant clock, and then the rest of the prompt. Now what you're going to notice is that in scene number 3, the exterior of the close-up of our clock right here, it doesn't look identical to the one that we had previously in scene number 1. And the reason for that is because AI did not have a reference. Even though scene 1 was generated, it still was a separate scene for the AI to generate this image. So in order for AI to stay consistent and generate a close-up exterior of the clock, I need to use a reference image of the exterior building or the tower right here, including the clock. So how do you do this? Well, I'm going to use the left panel of the Whisk website, and then where it says scene right here, this is where places go into. What I'm going to do is I'll simply just drag scene number 1, because this is where we have the exterior of the tower and the building. I'm going to drag it and drop it into the scene right here, and then Google is going to start analyzing it, and then once it's ready, I can then start generating scene number 3 to make sure that I have a close-up of the exterior clock showing the tower and everything else. Once the image is analyzed by Google, all I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to use the prompt of scene number 3 in the text box right here, and then the AI will know exactly that this is the place where we need to keep it consistent. And once you hit generate, this is going to be the result. So this is the right image, as you can see, of the close-up. Basically, I just used the same exact prompt. The only difference is that I used the white shot as a reference for AI to let it know that this is the place and this is how it looks like, and that's the type of close-up of my clock that I want in scene number 3. So now you know how you can fix consistency problems just by using the left panel and dragging your images into where they fit to make sure that you have consistent characters and consistent places, especially if you have problems with inconsistencies. Tip number 3 is going to be about using the Whisk extension. So when you open it up, you're going to find that there are 2 versions. I'm not going to explain those. Again, everything is already explained in my previous tutorial, but I'm going to talk about the advantage versus disadvantage of both versions. So using the latest version, which is 7.6.0, the disadvantage of that one is that this one does not require the Whisk website or tab to be opened up. It works individually and separately, where you can generate all your scenes and everything else is going to be generated within the extension, and then you can auto download them or manually download them from the extension. So how do you do that? When you use the extension and you go for the latest version, you're going to click on the settings button right here, and then what you want to do next is simply click on the auto download and then configure where you want to download your files, and then you're all set. And so basically the disadvantage of working with the latest version of Auto Whisk extension is that everything is going to be be separately from your original project in the Whisk website. Even if you set the auto download or you do this manually, you're still going to have everything inside the extension, which is not visually appealing. So what I like to use best is the previous version, which is 7.5.1. This one for me is more appealing, and the advantage of that one is that as soon as you start pasting your prompts and you already have the character sheets imported into the subject images, Google is going to know that these are going to be the characters that are going to be used in your scene so that you can keep all your characters consistent in every scene. And then here's the advantage of using this extension is that when you click on the settings button right here, you're not going to play with the fixed mode settings. You're going to keep everything as is, but you will have the option to set the auto download where it says download settings right here. You can simply just tick that one and then click on configure. So when you click on the configure, it's going to take you to the download settings of your Chrome browser. And so what you need to do here is to turn off or toggle off where it says ask where to save file before downloading. So turn this off, and then you want to click on the change button right here to allocate where you want to save all your downloads for this specific project. Once you're done, you're just going to go back to the extension, and then you'll find the extension is working perfectly fine. What I like about having to work with the previous version of the Whisk extension is being able to have all my scenes inside the project. And so the reason for that is when using the Auto Whisk extension, what's going to happen is that it's going to throw all the images inside the Whisk project where you can easily analyze each scene, just like I showed you previously in tip number 2, in order to fix all the inconsistent errors to make sure that all your scenes are staying consistent. All right, tip number 4, which is really important before we move forward to the next step, which is bringing all those scenes to life by animating them. We have to rename each file to make sure that they're aligned with our motion prompts so that when we start animating them, everything is going to work in order and they're going to be in the right sequence. So you have to go into your folder, rename your files, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, because this is how they are numbered in the motion prompts. And then when you're done, we're going to move on to the next step. Now, our final stage using Grok and the Auto Grok extension, I'm going to share with you some pro tips before you even begin generating so that you can produce the highest quality videos. So the first thing you want to do when you land on the website, make sure that you click on the Imagine tab, and then you want to go to the profile picture at the bottom left corner, click that, and then click on settings. And then the next thing you want to do is click on behavior and make sure that you have enable automatic video generation turned off to avoid generating videos by default. And then comes next using the Auto Grok extension. So we're going to activate that right here. And there are a few steps that I want you to follow to make sure that you're all set. First things first, under control, you want to make sure that you choose frame to video. And then you're going to scroll a little bit down. This is where you upload your scenes. Once you have uploaded your scenes, they're going to show up right here. All these scenes are in order. And then you're going to scroll a little bit down. This is where you're going to paste your motion prompts. So now after pasting the motion prompts, you're going to scroll a little bit down. You're going to find all the video clips are in queue and are ready to be generated. We're not done yet. We're going to scroll up again because we want to go to the settings panel or button right here. And then you want to change the default mode to frame to video. The model is going to be left as is. The default aspect ratio is going to be 16:9. And then everything else is going to be the same. You're going to scroll down until you find where it says auto download quality. So typically it's going to be set to 480. You want to choose 720. And so what's going to happen is that when video clips are generated, Grok is going to upscale, or the extension is going to upscale the video clips before they're downloaded. Finally is setting up the auto download. So at the very bottom of the extension right here, you click on the cogwheel right there, and then you're going to do the same thing just like I advised you before. All you have to do is turn off where it says ask where to save each file before downloading, toggle that off, and then click on the change button to choose where you want to save your video clips, and you're all set. When you're done, make sure to go back to the website again so that the extension works properly, and then click on the save settings right here. Go to the top again, click on control, scroll towards the bottom or to the bottom of the extension, and simply just hit run, and then you're going to have your videos rendered and are ready to be used in a matter of minutes.
In a town where every second mattered, something unusual happened. The great clock tower stopped. Milo had always believed he could fix anything, but this felt bigger than he expected. When Arya arrived, she didn't see a disaster. She saw a challenge. Inside the towering gears, Milo began to doubt himself, but Arya reached out her hand. "You don't have to do this alone." Together, they climbed higher than ever before. They found the problem hidden deep within the brass heart of the tower, and side by side, they fixed it. As the clock began ticking once more, Milo realized something important. Courage grows stronger when it's shared.